This is Ray at Drop of Golden Tarot, and today I am doing a VR to Sylvan's Deadly Sins, at Sylvan's, the 7 Deadly Sins, 7 decks for Deadly Sins. That's what I'm doing. Let's see if I can talk. So the first prompt is Pride, a deck you purchased or used for flexing. So I didn't purchase this deck for flexing, but I feel like it kind of is my flex deck. This is the Mary L. first edition. And I guess I feel like it's a flex deck, one, because it's out of print. It's one of the few decks that I have that is out of print. I see it go for an outrageous amount of money sometimes, like for a deck that started at like 30 bucks. I've seen it sold for like 150, 160 dollars. So I guess I think it's a big deal that way maybe. But that's not why I bought it. I bought it because I fell in love with the images. I do use it. This would also fit for decks I don't share. And I don't share it because even though I went card by card and studied this deck, I still find myself needing to use a guidebook for it. So I guess that's not much of a flex at all, is it? If I still have to use a guidebook. But, so I don't share it because I have to interpret the cards and like grab out the guidebook and read a few things and continue with my interpretation and that sort of thing. So yeah, this is I guess my flex deck. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else to be my flex deck. So this is it. The Mary L. first edition. Let me put that away. Greed, a deck you don't share with anyone, you only use for yourself. Well, most of my decks I use for myself. I read for some family this summer, but that's not something I do commonly. I guess in my house, my girls would come and help themselves to just about any deck I own. The only one that they might not help themselves to would be my Goliath. Not because I've put it on a pedestal and told them that they can't use it, but because I do know it's my favorite deck, and they probably would be scared of spilling something on it or ruining it in some way and having me be upset with them. Little do they know I already have a backup copy. But I wouldn't be upset if they used this deck. There's none of my decks that are so precious to me that I wouldn't let my kids use them. I probably wouldn't take this, though, if I was doing readings for other people. I probably wouldn't put this deck in, like, the mix to use for other people. It is kind of a personal deck for me. So I guess that's going to be my greed deck. The deck I don't share with anybody. I just use for myself. Let's see. Next is Wrath, a deck you're angry at. And I'm ticked at this deck. I don't know if I'm more mad at the deck or if I'm more mad at the big guidebook. Can you guess which one it is? It's a Deviant Moon. I even edged it. I have the borderless version, and I edged it myself. And this card is one of the reasons I'm mad at the deck. So I didn't mind the deck, and I read with the deck until I got the big book. And then I started reading the big book. And don't get me wrong, I love the big book. I love reading about Patrick Valenza and his dreams and how he got to where he got with these cards and what meanings they have for him. The thing is that some of his meanings are, I don't feel like they embrace the full meaning of the card. I feel like both upright and reversed, his upright and reversed meanings only embrace the darker aspect of the card. And I don't feel like there's cards that only have a dark aspect or only have a light aspect. And like the Two of Cups was one of those. And now that I have read his meaning for the Two of Cups, I can't get it out of my head. And maybe I should be getting closer with these cards though. But I also can't read with the deck now. It's kind of ruined it for me. And I'm ticked. And I'm so ticked. I haven't been able, this is the first time I've even gotten this deck out of its tuck box in over a year. Haven't read with it, haven't looked through it, haven't done it, but can't bear to part with it because I do love the illustrations. So I'm mad. Just totally furious with it. The next deck, a deck you wanted because other people have it. Yes, I do. I have this. In fact, it was hard to pick one because I got FOMO a couple of times. You know, in my collection, I've had FOMO a couple of times. Lenormand Tarot. In fact, I think it's still in order because I haven't. I've gone through it. I've never shuffled this deck. I wanted this deck so badly. I saw other people talking about it, loving it. I asked Simon at Hermit's Cave to put this one and Whispering Spirits together and flip through each of the cards one at a time. I did little hash marks on a piece of paper on which card, like, oh, on the Empress, I like this one the best. And on the, the next, on the Hierophant, I like that one the best. And so I decided which one had the most hash marks at the end between Mons Tarot and Whispering Spirits. It was Mons Tarot. So that's the one that I bought. And I haven't used it. I think I bought it in January of this last year. And like I said, you can see it's still in order. Haven't used it once. But it's so cute. I'm looking at it right now going, I want to use it. I don't dislike it. I think it's adorable. I just, when I go to pull a deck off the shelf, I tend to pull decks that I've already worked with. And I haven't set aside a time to work with this one yet. So this is going to be my envy deck. I wanted it because other people have it. And I do hope I'm going to get to this in 2022. But it's been a whole year. We'll see. Lust, a deck you like for aesthetic reasons. This is a gorgeous deck. And I bought it for the aesthetics of it. Threads of Fate Tarot. This is the Lumen edition. And look, I mean, I don't know if that's how well that is showing up on camera. But isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I already had their Oracle when I found their tarot, and I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. I found somebody selling it secondhand, and I bought it. And to be honest, I actually use this deck, and it works well. I didn't buy it because I thought, oh, that's a deck that's going to speak to me, and I'm going to be able to use it. I bought it because it's so pretty. But I do use it, and I do like it, and it does work well for me. So, like, there's no anger or upset with the fact that I bought it at all. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and I actually read with it and use it. So, yeah. The Lust deck that I ended up falling in love with. See, sometimes one night stands can turn into something more permanent. Gluttony. Okay, this is a deck I really didn't need. I haven't even taken it out of the box here. The deck I really didn't need, but I bought it anyways, and that is Precious Possums. Why didn't I really need Precious Possums? Because I'm still learning Lenormand, however you say it. I was just watching Peggy's Yule Bash, and there was somebody on there, the curated shelf, who was telling us the correct French pronunciation of this, but I can't remember. I don't know if I could have said it right, even if I did remember. But I'm still learning this system. I already had 2 decks. I didn't need a third and a fourth. Ooh, I did buy. Now I have 4 decks. But isn't this cute? I followed, I think it's Logan Townsend. Is that it? Yeah, Townsend. Yeah. I followed this person's Instagram channel and watched the creation of this deck, not realizing that that's what I was watching. I thought it was a deck that that they had, that they were just like taking pictures of and doing readings with. Didn't realize that they were the creator, artist, and showing off cards as they made them. And I was just like, oh, this is so adorable. When I finally learn the system, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get that deck. And then I realized it was going to be a self-published deck on Kickstarter, and I just decided I had to have it. And I do think it's gorgeous and it's beautiful, and it will end up, oh, look at those. I just love matte colored edges. Just love them. So yeah, I think it'll be a good one for my collection, but it's not a system I know super well. It's a system I started learning this year, and I went hot and heavy on it for probably about 6 months, and then haven't done as much the last 6 months of this year and need to get back into that. Sloth is the last deadly sin, and a deck you use when you feel lazy. Oh, I have a few lazy decks, but I picked this one. That's the Threads. Is this Threads of Fate Oracle? What is that? No, one's a tarot. One's, oh, let's see. Okay, the tarot is a Weaver Tarot. This is the same creator. Okay. So this, let me go back. This is a Weaver Tarot, Journeyer Edition. It is by the same creators as the Threads of Fate Oracle, which this is the Shadow Edition. And also another deck I could have bought just for purely aesthetic reasons. I don't know if the light is like showing that up as gorgeous as it is. I'm like, I want to shine the light on that more directly to be like, can you see that? Can you see how pretty it is? This deck, I say I use it when I feel lazy because it's an oracle. And I guess I use oracles more often when I feel lazy. When I use an oracle card, or oracle deck, how well I get along with it has a lot to do with the aesthetic of the deck, the keywords, and the guidebook. And this deck hits all those points for me. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I do love the keywords, and I love the guidebook. But I guess I consider oracle decks my lazy decks because I never use them in a spread. I always use them as one card draws. And so, yeah, for me, that's kind of like a lazy way of reading cards, is doing a one card draw. So one card, I look at the card, I get my feels out of it, my own kind of take on it, and I read the guidebook, and then whatever I want to do from there, if I feel like I need to journal with it or whatever. But it's a really simplified reading, so that's why I call it a lazy reading. But this is just a comfortable deck that I absolutely adore. And so it's a lazy deck because like I can go to it and I can grab a card, and it's got a keyword in there that kind of lets me know where I'm at, and I can sit with that all day and then read the guidebook that night, or I can read the guidebook right away. Either way, it works for me. So yeah, that is my decks for 7 Deadly Sins. This has been a very fun tag. I've been enjoying watching everybody do it. I was glad to join in. And thank you to Sylvanian for, oh, I hope I have it right. I will put it in I will link it in the comments below, for this VR. And this has been Ray, and I hope that you are staying safe, healthy, and happy. Bye-bye.